This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for January 16th, 2020. Q's up almost 1%, 0.96. We just closed here, and the SPY up 0.81. Going into today, we said neutral to bullish. We were wondering if the Qs would get any kind of follow through as it took out the previous day's low, acknowledging that this uptrend remains intact, especially for the SPY, and higher prices is what we got. Okay, we've been using the hourly to watch for any potential short-term sell-off, short-term pullback, but when anticipating a longer-term pullback, maybe something more in line with an actual top here that will end this uptrend. We've been looking for two things. Either we get acceleration away from the trend, which maybe we're getting the start of it here, or we get some kind of large gap down that breaks the trend. We open up after some kind of news in the next morning, and then we get this we open up much lower. Okay, so if we're looking for maybe that first scenario where we actually start to accelerate away, right, we're going to need to see larger green bars here on the hourly, multiple green bars, right, some kind of example of a top. With each of these kind of pullbacks, right, I feel like every time we get these, I get questions in the room asking me, is this the top now? Are we pulling in? Are we going to, and it's hard to kind of constantly remind people that this is what is needed to maintain the uptrend. And it's not hard because it's something that needs to be remembered or anything, but it is exciting for us as traders to anticipate that if we do get some kind of volatility, increase in volatility, that we'll see some different opportunities, and that part is exciting, and what it could mean for day trading. But it's the same thing, and I know at some point maybe I will be wrong about that all of these pullbacks are buyable opportunities, as we've been saying for weeks now. But until the charts really tell us that we have an hourly downtrend happening, I'm not expecting any kind of significant pullback yet. And until we see either a dramatic, significant gap down or acceleration away from the trend, I'm not expecting any kind of permanent top or some kind of meaningful top, right? The last thing I want to do is just keep guessing with each new high that maybe will come in, this reason valuations are too bloated, and this and that, and investors are running out of places to go to, and value doesn't, any of the reasons that we can come up with to try and guess a top. We're just letting the charts tell us, if we are still in an uptrend, if the market's continuing higher, if we're in a healthy uptrend, right, then the bias will remain bullish. Okay, all right, so Qs and SPY, I know there's only so many ways I can kind of say it, right? The hourly uptrend is intact, the daily uptrend is intact, we're not peeling away, we're not really increasing the distance between the 20 MA and price. We could start to get it from here. This is not a bad start. If we were to start to peel away from the 20 MA, increase the distance between, right, accelerate the trend, and maybe put in a top that way. This might, we can anticipate a top, but pullbacks continue to happen and continue to keep this uptrend healthy. So going into tomorrow, bullish. All right, let's go over some trades here. All right, mRNA, I liked this gap up here, pro gap, clearing some resistance. Did give this a shot in the room today. Unfortunately, we just didn't get it as far as we needed it to go. Okay, we got in it as it broke out here over 2170. Didn't give us enough. I was looking for us to actually break $22. I like the way that this was forming on the weekly. The monthly, not bad either. Trying to continue this little bit of an uptrend, but primarily the weekly. And I like the gap. Market kind of came in shortly after we got in it. And then, this wasn't able really to recover. It's fine. We got out of it underneath 2140 and kind of never really revisited because it never gave us any kind of pattern or entry or anything. So we were in it for the new highs, just wasn't high enough. So that ended up not working there on the mRNA. The only thing coming out of lunch here that I gave the room was the HOMB for a breakout. That's the reason I was just coming on here just after the market closed, because it's just exiting this at the end of the day. Was just a breakout here over 2020 and a stop at 2010. So just a 10-cent stop there. There's the 5-minute 20 MA catching up underneath and then breaking out here. You can see it was also I've been basically all morning here, right? And then breakout right there and then stop right there. Another one that I thought was a pretty good gap, eventually cleared the resistance, and then once it cleared resistance, I thought pretty nice looking. Similar weekly, trying to turn itself up here and break out of this range. So kind of a similar setup on the mRNA and the HOMB, but obviously the HOMB gave much better follow through and a tighter stop. So I think that kind of helped this play kind of work out. One that I did not play, but I think it's always good to go over what is working in the market, what they look like, because we always need to be dynamic in that regard, paying attention to what is working. Is this AA? Now, it was given to the room by Sammy to play this breakdown. Also, someone in the room mentioned this a sell setup here, so there were opportunities here that were put out. I think at the time I was actually just trying to get the call in for the room on the mRNA and get my own play in. And then the AA I think was pretty good to play here. If we look at this gap, we gapped under multiple days here. I know they had earnings. There was some more support here to the left, but it got sold right away and broke through it. And, we looked at the weekly on the mRNA and the HOMB, and just you can see how this is continuing a longer term trend here, that it's kind of based a bit, paused, and now resuming the trend, right? So you can see kind of time frame alignment happening here on the chart, right, allowing for these to make for better opportunities, right? HOMB and mRNA turning up, 20 MA curling up underneath, AA the opposite, 20 MA above price. You can see it's flattened out but starting to curl down, especially given the price action that we got today, right? So I thought this was a pretty big miss on my part. Really nice follow through, closing here just at the lows, and that's what we like, right? You get in a play, if it gets to an initial quick target, that gives you a chance to keep a runner position, right, with basically no additional risk here, and then see if you can get more follow through. Of course, sometimes, like yesterday on the TGT, we held a runner. The runner didn't end up making much because it ended up rallying here into the end of the day, and we had to trail it. That's gonna happen, but for something like the AA, that's kind of the ideal kind of day trade to get into. So this one, some opportunities here, definitely some missed opportunities on my part on the AA. So hopefully you were able to catch it, because I do think it should have been played. Really, honestly, should have been played based on the setup and based on the entries. So hopefully you did well today. All right, earnings season just getting underway. All right, so hopefully staying focused and staying ready for more tomorrow and next week. Tomorrow's Friday, might be a little bit lighter. Keep in mind also Monday is a holiday, so after tomorrow we'll pick things back up on Tuesday, but I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and we'll kind of talk about what to expect going into the shortened week. Okay? All right, hope you have a good evening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.